大家好, I'm Martin, and this is Short Stories, brought to you by the Taichung Keda Language Center. Today's short story is called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you have heard this story before, but did you know it is not a Grimm's fairy tale? I know, I was surprised too. It was written by an English poet named Robert Southey in 1837. And it is actually an English story. However, today's version, I kind of give it a German setting, because it does sound like a very German story, doesn't it? Well, anyway, before I read today's story, I'm going to read the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. After the story is completed, I'm going to read 4 listening comprehension questions. All right, let's begin. Vocabulary. Curious. Curious. The kitten is very curious about the new toy. Naughty. Naughty. The naughty child drove the teacher crazy. Sibling. Sibling. I have 4 siblings, 1 older brother, 2 older sisters, and 1 younger sister. Cozy. Cozy. My parents' house is nice and cozy in the winter. Make up one's mind. Make up one's mind. I haven't made up my mind about which job to apply for. Porridge. Porridge. I eat porridge for breakfast every day. Just right. Just right. I'm very comfortable because the temperature in this room is just right. Growl. Growl. I want to speak to the manager, the angry customer growled. Trespass. Trespass. He was fined for trespassing. Sentence. Sentence. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Now for the story. Deep in the Black Forest lived a family. This family had a young daughter who was named Goldilocks because her curly hair shone brightly. She was a very curious and naughty young lady. Whenever she found something new, she would pick it up and treat it as her own. This led to many arguments with her siblings, as she was always taking their new toys without asking. One day, she went to gather wildflowers and to chase butterflies. She ran here and there, and she went so far that she found herself in the middle of the forest. She saw a cozy little house that she had never seen before. What a pretty little cottage, she thought. The door was ajar, so Goldilocks pushed it open and found the place to be quite empty. She made up her mind to search the house, barely thinking about who was actually living there. Now there were 3 bears who lived in the house: Daddy Bear, Mommy Bear, and Baby Bear. They had left the house to go out for a walk, but had left their porridge on the table to cool. So when Goldilocks came into the kitchen, she saw the 3 bowls of porridge. She tasted the largest bowl, which belonged to Daddy Bear, and found it too cold. Then she tasted the medium-sized bowl, which belonged to Mommy Bear, and found it too hot. Finally, she tasted the smallest bowl, which belonged to Baby Bear, and it was just right. She ate it all. She went into the living room and saw 3 chairs. She tried the biggest chair, which belonged to Daddy Bear, and found it too high. Then she tried the medium-sized chair, which belonged to Mommy Bear, and she found it too wide. Finally, she tried the little chair, which belonged to Baby Bear, and found it just right. She leaned back on the chair a little too much, and fell over, breaking the chair. By this time, Goldilocks was very tired, and she went upstairs to the bedroom. There she found 3 beds. She tried the largest bed, which belonged to Daddy Bear, and found it too soft. Then she tried the medium-sized bed, which belonged to Mommy Bear, and she found it too hard. Finally, she tried the smallest bed, which belonged to Baby Bear, and found it just right. So she lay down upon it and fell fast asleep. While Goldilocks was lying fast asleep, the 3 bears came home from their walk. They walked into the kitchen to get their porridge, but when Daddy Bear saw his bowl, he growled, "Ooh, somebody has been tasting my porridge." Mommy Bear looked into her bowl and said, "Somebody has been tasting my porridge too." Baby Bear saw his bowl and squeaked, "Ah, somebody has eaten all my porridge." Then they went into the living room, and Daddy Bear growled, "Somebody has been sitting in my chair." Mommy Bear said, "Somebody has been sitting in my chair too." Baby Bear squeaked, "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has broken it." Next, they went upstairs into the bedroom, and Daddy Bear growled, "Somebody has been sleeping in my bed." Mommy Bear said, "Somebody has been sleeping in my bed too." Baby Bear squeaked, "Somebody is sleeping in my bed right now." At that moment, Goldilocks woke in a fright and tried to run away as fast as her legs could carry her. The bears grabbed her, and Daddy Bear sat on her while Mommy Bear called the cops. The police came and arrested Goldilocks for trespassing. The judge sentenced her to do community service for 6 months. She is now more respectful of other people's property. Now for the listening questions. Number 1. Who lived in the cottage? A family of bears. B, a family of badgers. C, 3 unrelated bears who were just roommates. D, Goldilocks' family. The answer is a family of bears. Question 2. Whose porridge did Goldilocks eat entirely? A, Daddy Bears. B, Mommy Bears. C, Baby Bears. Or D, her own? The answer is C, Baby Bears. Question 3. What was wrong with Daddy Bear's bed? A, it was too soft. B, it was too hard. C, it was too tall. D, it was too wide. The answer is A, it was too soft. Question 4. What happened to Goldilocks at the end? A, she went to prison. B, she was eaten by the bears. C, she was punished according to law. Or D, nothing. The answer is C, she was punished according to law. Okay, that's the end of today's short story. I hope you enjoyed listening to it, and I hope you learned a very valuable lesson about respecting other people's property, because to respect someone's property is the same as respecting that person. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.